Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back again. Welcome. Safe Space Podcast. I think the last episode we talked about fatherhood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right after Father's Day. So that was really big. Got some great feedback. Thank you all again for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and sending in your comments. So we see them. We've been responding. Great feedback. Again, we're still working. We're still growing. We're still, testing out new equipment,
Right.
new things, and we just are ready to bring more content. So, what is our topic for today?
Topic for today is purpose. Your purpose, my
That's
purpose.
a good topic.
The Lord's purpose, all the purposes.
I like that. Ooh,
You got
it's
anything
funny.
to say before we just jump into it?
Yeah, so it's funny because I think it's something that's readily we take for granted a lot of times, like thinking through. We have the opportunity to live out our purpose. We have the flexibility and the capability to. I want to say we have a golden opportunity. And I know some people can say, depending on your circumstances or situation, and I get that all those things take account and take precedence sometimes. But ideally, we still have that freedom. And every day we wake up, we have that opportunity to live out that purpose and see what that looks like. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, bro. All right, so let's hop straight into it. First question is, what is your purpose in life?
Man, so I think that's something that I've always struggled with. I thought my purpose in life was to make a lot of money and make sure my family was taken care of.
Yeah.
And the more money I make, I realize my purpose is not about me. It's about the ones that's coming behind me or that I need to pull up.
Yeah.
Or ones that's kind of lost their way or missing their purpose and needing a shining light or needing a shoulder to cry on or an ear to hear or just needing that extra push.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always just innately stepped into that role as the big brother role or the best friend needed there or a life coach or whatever you needed at the time. I feel like I've always been a chameleon.
Being a mentor?
Absolutely.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Absolutely. And I feel like my purpose is always, it may not be to lead and take control or be the head person, but being a strong mentor and leading that way seems to be very comfortable for me. It puts me in a positive, light and a great, and makes me feel like I'm a light to their darkness.
Okay, so being a light to people / being a mentor. Right. No, that's really good, and I feel like when you first started talking, I feel like a lot of people, not even you specifically, but a lot of people confuse purpose with like their milestone and their goal. Because you can have a milestone and a goal and still go for it. It still might not be a purpose.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So I don't feel like wanting to make the most money and take care of your family is an issue as far as like
not at all.
You even thinking it's your purpose, but they're your goals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's all it is. It's just in a different category. There's nothing wrong to think that. I don't think, at least.
No, I think you're 100% right with that, and I'm glad you even said that because a lot of times that is a misconception. Like your goal is strictly that. It is a goal. It is something that is you're trying to obtain. It's something you're working towards. It's something you're trying to push the needle forward with. But that doesn't always mean like that is God's purpose for your life. That is your overall purpose for being on this planet. And I think you said it perfectly. We have to take a step back and say, okay, that is a goal. This is a want. This is a need. This is my purpose. And separating those and saying, okay, how can I do all of those things while still walking in my purpose? And truthfully, a lot of people won't find that day one. It's not gonna like, oh, you just woke up like, this is my purpose.
Yeah.
Right. Like they talk a lot of times, like some of the oldest actors right now, like Liam Neeson didn't really find his purpose until later in life in acting. Yeah. And let's talk about what's his name. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his first roles. He was like mid-30s, late 40s, early 40s. Right. So it's like sometimes your purpose isn't always. It's not a yellow brick road. It's not easy.
I don't feel like it never is. I feel like it never is.
You don't feel like it ever is?
I don't feel like it ever is. Those people who like, I woke up, God told me to do this and I did it. They always come back like 5-10 years later.
Yeah.
It'd be like, I thought, but he really wanted me to do this. And I mean, I guess, the more spiritual you are, that everything comes in seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be, that could be your purpose for your season. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to make it like complicated, but that could be a thing too.
It's funny you say that. I just was listening to another podcast, and it was like a reel on Instagram, and they talked about it, understanding difference between, something you're going through and a season. We say, we've been going. I mean, it's just my season to go through it. He's like, dog, it's been 3 years. Seasons are a quarter a year,
quarter, fam.
3 months a year,
maybe a half a year, max, nigga.
like
years.
A season. Let's understand. Season is 3 months. It's 90 days. It has a time limit.
No, it's fact.
Sometimes
you just don't know it.
You just don't know it, and sometimes it's not even a season. It's just where you are.
Yeah.
And it's saying, you know what? Let me get out of where I am.
Yeah.
Instead of sometimes labeling it as a season.
Yeah.
And in truth, when you're finding your purpose, it might just be where you are. You are on the journey, locating and finding your season. I mean, not season, locating and
you
finding.
Could be though.
That's
true. Doubt, but you could be.
That's true.
You could be like me personally. To be vulnerable, I'm in my waiting season, so I'm in one of those seasons where like I'm literally getting calls from recruiters like, you should be making this much, and I'm like, I know.
Oh, right.
But
I know my worth. Yeah,
I know, but I'm not. So
how that make you feel though?
It makes me feel kind of like I'm not. My dog's over here looking a ball. If y'all hear that, but it kind of makes me feel like I'm wasting my time and I'm not supposed to be here. But then God's like, I didn't tell you that.
Yeah.
And what I pray for, I literally pray to work for a type of company I'm working for. To do it the way I want, as in, the 410s, no phone work.
Right.
Of course I get on Teams every now and then. I feel like that's most remote jobs, but my job's remote. So like hit all the buttons. So guys, like, you asked for them 4 things, I gave you those 4 things. Now you're complaining you're not getting paid enough. And I'm just like, everybody around me is telling me I should be doing this. So it's kind of almost like a punch to the face. But what I realize is I'm in my waiting season.
Right. And should you be listening to everybody around you or listen to God?
Right.
Exactly. Right.
And the thing is, I listen to everybody. It's just but see,
you take it all in.
I take it all in, but I take out what I don't need.
And so you take it all in and you digest it. That's the difference.
Some I like that.
Take it all
I
in,
digest it.
You digest it.
Yeah, I like that.
Because what happens is some people take it all in and say, I got to run with that.
Yeah. I'm not like that at all.
Right.
I'm not like that at all. I'm okay with opinions. My wife, beautiful wife, she dislikes opinions and she dislikes advice. And I see why, when she dives more into it. Because a lot of people give you advice. They haven't been in that stage. They haven't been, around that. So it's like, why would you take advice from somebody who I guess is not going down the same path as you? It's like being a doctor and listening to a dentist about how to treat your patients.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can listen to it. You can learn some bedside manner, but it's different. It's two different things.
2 different fields. Yeah. I agree to that. No. Sound like
no rebuttals.
No rebuttals there, because it's true. Like I guess I'm trying to understand also, like in this season where I am, I'm trying to not jump at, like you said, the first thing that comes through, jump at the first opportunity. But I'm also realizing, like you said, I have to, one, be comfortable where I am. I have to feel like I'm a part of a team. I have to feel like my purpose is being led here, opposed to just doing a job because I'm there, or just being in a career field place where I don't feel as if I'm making an impact the way I would like to. Granted, I love that I make a certain number or a certain salary.
Right.
Cool. However, if I am going to work every day dreading being there, going to my career and saying, I love this field, but maybe I don't like my current situation. Some people feel drowned and they feel trapped in that sense.
Yep.
And it's tough to pull them out of that. And I think, again, right now I don't want to be in that state.
Yeah.
So right now I feel like my purpose has been somewhat shifted, but still having the same ultimate goal is mentoring, breathing life into people who feel lifeless, who feel like they're inadequate or don't have, or uneducated, or feel like they're not worth whatever, truly God has for us, because we are worth way more than we really give ourselves credit for.
Yeah.
So hopefully, in mentorship and devotion and spending time with yourself, loved ones, and with God, each and every person can kind of like navigate where their purpose looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different for everybody. Everybody's journey is different,
That's the thing. And they look at social media and that's like, dang,
I tell
they
you,
in Dubai this week. It's like, because they've been saving up Dubai money.
They could have been saving for 3 years.
You don't know.
And you just see it. The instant gratification of social media has really, honestly, created a stressor in myself where I've never been, me, I'm not a person of stress. I don't worry. I'm very carefree. I mean, we both like that. We don't really worry about a lot. But to see someone who I know for a fact does not have the same career path as me, is not on the same level as far as a salary as me, but you're taking your family on trips every other weekend. Again, not trying to judge or say I don't know what you have going. I don't know what you could have won a settlement. You could have, something.
No, you just implied bro was a drug dealer. It's okay.
I mean, I'm just not to imply my man is a drug dealer by any means. More so, I don't want to look at that and say, man, I'm jealous. I've never been jealous of anybody.
Yeah.
Now we're like, oh, I like that, or I would like to have that, but I've never like said like, oh, I'm jealous of this person. I wish I could do that. But then you start to see it more and more, and you're like, man, I wish I could go to Disneyland tomorrow,
man,
and just get up and go.
Yeah.
And fly the family out, not worry about no expenses, not worry about what tomorrow looks like.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do want those things.
It's okay to want it.
And it's okay to want it. So I tell people all the time, if you see, a friend doing well and getting those things, say congratulate them. Hey,
celebrate them.
Hey, I celebrate you being able to do those things.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
I'm next.
Yeah.
I'm
not there yet. I'm next.
Right.
I like that. I'm next. That's a good way to put it.
That is a good way to put it. I'm gonna go to the second question because I kind of feel like you kind of answered it, but just like in more detail. So
yeah, let's talk about it.
How can someone find their purpose? Like routes they can take. Yeah.
So I think I wasn't a big fan of this until I started doing this myself. But whiteboarding. So ideally, you take a whiteboard, you start writing things down on it, right? You start writing dreams and goals and aspirations, and you just kind of look at it and you just see it from a broad's eye view. You take a step back and say, okay, these are all so maybe at work we call it whiteboarding because we use a whiteboard.
Okay,
but ideally it's the same concept. So yeah, it's
okay. It's okay. I'm sorry.
Double entendre. But again, because you using a marker on a whiteboard. But
okay.
But yes.
Storyboard. You cut out the pictures. Okay.
Right,
you know what you're right. My bad. I'm sorry for interrupting you, baby.
No. You got it, brother. I appreciate the insight. But ideally, it's the same concept. Even if you have to write it down, whatever it looks like, put all these things in one bucket. Put all these things on paper or on a board or in a view that you can see them. It's tangible. You can touch it. You can move it around, whatever. Look at that and always in that as, okay, what's the purpose of this?
Mm-hmm.
What's behind this? What comes from this? Who is changed from this? Does it need to be changed? Do I need to be changed? And you have to you really have to self-reflect with that. I think that's what helped me. Like I had to keep saying, I want to push for others to do more so much. Like just to be transparent, I want to push you and our other brothers so much because I want so much for both of y'all.
Yeah.
Right? As a big brother, as the older brother, I want the world for you.
You do that to everybody.
But I do it to everybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like I have to take a step back and say, they didn't ask me to push.
Shout out to my cousin Bria. I seen it firsthand.
Right. So again, you didn't ask me to do that.
Yeah.
And I had to take a step back and say, if what I want for you the best for you, or is it the best for me? Do I
it's
get
really your version?
And again, just to your point, it's my ideology of what's best for you. Like that's almost like being an overbearing parent where it's saying like, hey, I want this so bad for you, I'm gonna just push it down your throat.
Yeah.
And some of us have seen that firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us have not. And depending on what kind of parents you grew up with, but a lot of times our parents didn't have a lot, and they were young, trying to be young parents and doing their best, but they didn't have a lot of great coaching and teaching up front. So then they were just playing it off the fly.
They didn't have good mentors.
No, it's little to none.
That's the best way.
All their mentors were not in the same place as them.
Right.
If your mentor is literally, if y'all are both doing the same things,
that's not your mentor.
That's not your mentor. Y'all are basically coworkers in what we call life. Y'all are on the same level.
Coworkers in life. I like that.
You're coworkers in life. You are not where your mentor should be in a place where you want to be, where you aspire to be, something that's attainable. So that way him or she can put you in a position to walk down this path. Can tell you, hey, when I went down this path, these are things that I encountered. Because I encountered them, I'm going to put you on game up front so you don't have to go through it the same way. You may still, go through it, but you may be better now prepared because of that.
Yeah.
So I struggled with that, and through, working with my wonderful wife who's amazing at this, who's helped me through this, working with my therapist. And by the way, please get a therapist. Just want a shameless plug. If you do not have a therapist, get one ASAP. It is a life changer. It is a game changer. I will speak and talk about that every single podcast if I have to. But black men, please see somebody.
So we don't got to get into this in this pod. This gonna be another pod. But I think every single black person in the world should see a therapist. Now, it doesn't have to be for like a year, 10 years, but I feel like everybody should go just because of what comes with our lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you be like, oh, I came from like a healthy family. Okay, well, you
still got trauma.
You still got trauma.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about in the other pod, I didn't know that being a people pleaser was, you can't be a people pleaser unless you came from trauma. Like, that's not a natural thing to be. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, so it's a lot of people out here like, oh, I'm good. But anybody they get around or get near, they sabotage it. They self-sabotage it. They're like, oh, no, this is a problem. And then when that person fixes it, they're like, oh, that's a problem too. It's like, oh, okay, well, see you later.
See it exactly. Like, I'm gone. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry to stop that, and I kind of lost my train of thought. But yes,
no.
Black men, people, please see a therapist.
Please see a therapist. Yes. Yeah. Shameless plug. But yeah, you said, how can someone find their purpose? Did you answer that? Did you say through mentorship?
Yeah, it was a lot of it's through mentorship and prayer and therapy and working with someone. And obviously, I want to make sure I plug in that person that I think that's where we're going. The person that you're being mentored by should be either in the field you want to be in, should be advanced as far as where you are in life. They should be in a higher position or higher state. I hate to say higher to make it feel like there's like a bureaucracy or like
as
a
far
hierarchy,
as the ladder for your profession. Yes, that's a ladder, right? For sure.
But even if you're on a purpose of spiritual journey, you shouldn't be talking to somebody who's doing just as bad as you.
Yeah, no.
You should be seeking help from a pastoral care or a prophet or a
now I can work through things together. Y'all can like fast together, 100%. Change your diet together, work out together. But as far as like listening to advice, you need to be talking to somebody that's 20 years in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, there has some skin in the game that's took some L's.
I would say like 8+ years. Like somebody that's just been doing it for 2 years isn't gonna help either. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I would only rebuttal that to say if that person had a fast track and was connected with the right people and could get you connected with the right people,
that's different.
That's different.
But still, even then, they getting you connected to the right people, and them right people weren't in it for 2 years.
Right, but connecting you to the right people can connect you to your upcoming mentor or the right leadership. Right, so perfect. Yeah. All right, so yeah,
we say the same thing.
100%.
All right, so let's go to the third question. What do you need to let go of to fulfill your purpose?
Wow, self.
This one.
Right.
I know. But
yeah, right. So ideally, letting go of yourself, everything that you thought or everything that you believe to be,
expectations.
All your expectations should be challenged. you shouldn't go into it thinking everything that I know about this world and this life is right. It should be, you should challenge it to see other perspectives, challenge it to see, okay, if I'm in this situation, what does this look like? What changes me in this mode? Because sometimes you're gonna hit adversity, and if you don't know how to maneuver in that space, it's tough. So you need to challenge yourself to say, okay, I think, I've been living my life for 20 plus years, and this is the way I've always thought and think, and I think everything I think and do is right. 9 times out of 10, you got some bumps in that road. 9 times out of 10, you got some bumps in that road, and you're not perfect. And in that space, you need to be challenged, and that's what I'm kind of more so going through. Okay. In that space, you need to be challenged as far as you need someone to hold you accountable, and take real positive feedback in that space. Be able to get somebody that can give you the real and tell you about yourself, and you take it and say, that is constructive criticism. This is what I want to do. And understanding every time somebody's straightforward and honest with you, it's not a fuss, a fight. It's not an argument. Right. It's not somebody belittling you. Sometimes you need to hear the straight truth, the real rap raw. And I realized this for myself, that I've always struggled with criticism, right? Because a lot of, and truthfully, I feel like because when I've heard it in the past, it was more so an attack.
Right.
In reality, somebody's just giving me the real about, hey man, this is the perception that you're giving off. This is what we feel or believe that you're portraying. If it's not true, I get it, but I'm telling you how it's coming off to me. And if it's coming off to me, I'm not the only, I might not be the only one. And
I lived with my neos for 3 years, so what you're talking about is like, I'm dang near triggered. Like, I've had conversations with like grown men who like, yeah, no, and then like 2 years later, they're like, yeah, bro, you was right. And I was like, you didn't even have to tell me I was right. I just wanted to help.
It wasn't even about being right or wrong. It was more so like, I'm giving you game because I want you to, again, going back to, I want better for you. Right. So I felt like I was in a space where I could give you honest feedback. I could be that light to your darkness. And granted, if they asked for the help, great. If they didn't, sometimes it could be overbearing and it could be looked at as like, hey, you're trying to be controlling. Yeah. And I get that. And I've had to learn
it's
that.
It's gonna be like that every time.
Every time. You're right. But I've learned, if you don't ask me to do it, my therapist said, hey, if they don't ask you to do it, don't do it.
That's good, bro, because I ain't gonna lie, you was definitely on that. You was like, yeah, go ahead, fix this. And I'd be looking like, yeah, they not ready to fix that, bro. Like, just, you kind of gotta let them fall. I had to work on that too, letting people fall for sure.
100%. And I take big responsibility. Even our own brother, like I want so much from. And shout out my brother Cyrus.
He gonna be on the pod.
He gonna be on the pod. Yeah, man. Love him to death. Got to see him last weekend, which was beautiful for our family reunion.
Yeah.
But I pushed him so much, not knowing the trauma he already felt, trying to live up to me already. He's being pushed down his throat, be like your older brother, be like your older brother. Me not seeing that and me trying to help him just made it even worse and created a kind of triggering effect. When I did go to help, it was like, are you trying to help or are you trying to turn me into you? And at that point in time in my life, I didn't know the difference.
Yeah, no.
There really was no difference for me. It wasn't even. I was like, man, I'm not trying to turn you into me. And I realized, yes, I am. Because I'm like, okay, if I can get out of the city and make it and be successful, this is how you do it. This is the blueprint.
Put you on game.
And understanding everybody, and when I really had to take a step back, and once again, shout out my wife, who's always on top, and pause, but who's always on it, right? Who's giving me game since day one. That's crazy. But who's giving me game since day one? You can't control everybody's movements. You can't be in daddy mode all the time. And granted, no matter what our experiences was growing up, and how we had to grow up, and at the point in time where I was like that big brother mode and had to step in and kind of be the voice for you and your brother and our brother. I had to take a step back. You're a grown man. He's a grown man. And you know what? The decisions you make and the consequences that come with those, are all on you. I can't control that. All I can do is say, hey man, I'm here for you. If you need me, I got you.
If you need me, I got you.
If you need me, I got you.
Just support.
Right. And support isn't always telling someone what they're doing wrong. And that's huge.
It's a difference because you just talked about constructive criticism. When you're doing that, it's more like, hey man, I feel like if we worked on this, maybe we could see some results over here that you would like to see. Right. If not, totally up to you. Like boom, like and instead of like, bro.
Right.
Do this.
But again, to your point, you have to come to me for that.
Yeah.
Because at this point in my life, I can't push myself anymore on anyone else.
Yeah.
If you tell me, hey, Sorrell, I need XYZ, you will get XYZ to the T.
Yeah.
And there's no longer me throwing in W, U, V, these other things. Other
points.
Right? If you say, hey man, I need help with this, just this is what I need. I got you. I will do exactly what you
say no more.
Say less. I will do exactly what you need.
Yeah.
But again, working with my wife and working with therapy and really growing in myself, spiritually and personally, emotionally,
intelligent. I think that's what it's called.
All those things, man. Like really just growing up.
Yeah.
Right. And being the best version of me has really just put me in a better space. And I think in a safer space.
Hey.
Shout out to Pods.
No, what a joint that.
Yes, sir.
I throw that in there.
Right.
I got a question for you though.
Yes, sir.
Do you have, or have you ever had a mentor?
Yes. So I have a professional mentor for work, right? That really is, man. He he give it to me like it is.
Yeah.
He also is a brother, and we able to talk candidly and being able to have real conversations in corporate America.
You need that.
I gotta have it. I need
that.
And you know what's funny? He said, "Man, you came in when I needed you the most." He said, "You don't understand. I was dealing with mentees who wanted to just use my connections to get them somewhere. You just needed someone
soaking up the game."
Right. He said, "Man, you just wanted to get mentored and be a sponge, ask the right questions, and also let me know that if I need you, you got me."
Yeah.
He said, "Man, you're the first mentee," and he's been in corporate America now 20 years. In 18 years, he said nobody's ever asked him what he needed. As a mentor, he said none of his mentees in 18 years have said, "Hey, Mr. Hill, if you ever need me, I got you."
Yeah.
Like regardless of what I can and can't help with, just to know that I'm offering, the offering is there, it's on the table.
Right.
Blew him away. And that's what made our bond even stronger. Like, oh, he said, nah, whenever you need me, I'll cut other one-on-ones for you.
Yeah.
Because we got a connection that's like no other. Right?
You solidified the bridge instead of him like opening up the bridge and you like, oh, thank you for laying that down for me.
Yeah.
You grabbed the other end and put it down.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. And strengthened it over time, right?
That's good.
So I have one there, and I also have a spiritual mentor that I work with, that goes to our church.
Mm-hmm.
Really great guy. He's been with me since I've been at Have Life. He's worked with me numerous times, just working through questions about being a father, being a young married man in the church, being a young married man in America. And we've had candid conversations about temptations and the enemy trying to come in and take over what he built. Right. And really, it's really good in-depth conversations, man. And him and his wife are family friends of ours. We love to work with him and his wife and his children. So again, I have people in places that if I need something on the professional side, I can go to. If I need something on the personal side or spiritual side, I can go to. You have to have some, and all these people are doing better than me overall in life, as far as like their career path, as far as like where I want to be. Like these are like, I'm not a minister, I'm not a deacon. This person is, right? So he can help me being more in depth in my spiritual walk.
Yeah,
I'm not a level 3 employee. I'm not a senior vice president or a VP at the bank. He is, and these are places I want to go with my career, with my spirituality. So I need people who are advanced or in a further along state on their journey.
Yeah, I was
help
about to
me.
say, I don't even
Yes.
say they're not even better than you. They've
Yeah, saying better than
evolved.
me sounds crazy.
They're evolved the way they were supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course they're older than you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like for your age,
Mm-hmm.
you are doing what you're supposed to be doing,
Right.
which is going up.
Yep. And each one of them have mentors.
Yep, you got to,
right?
You got to.
So I was talking to them. They were like, "Yeah, I got a mentor too." I'm like, "Sheesh, get out of here." They was like,
mentor about 60. You know what I'm saying? Doing what they need to do.
Facts.
Awkward pause. All right, so
that's
let's
all
go
good.
to the, I believe, fourth question. Are passions and purpose the same thing to you? We kind of talked about that already. It's kind of like goals and
right.
purpose. We'll skip that one. Have you ever felt burned out while walking in your purpose?
How many times can I say yes without making the podcast freak out?
Say absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's like 4 yeses.
So yes. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so many times that I either wanted to do something like this, have a opportunity to enlighten or give my opinion or my take on things.
Your uplift.
Man, what?
Your uplift. You trying to think of the word? I got you.
Like, and in everything I do, that's all I want to be is in that moment of being a shining light. I just want to uplift you, and I think that's gave me more joy than I think anything else that I've worked in and done. But again, you get burnt out when you try to do that for people who don't want it or who not ready to receive it. And how does someone whose passion is that? How do you get over someone telling you no, I don't need it, or not listening? It's like, man, if you would have just if you could have just take a piece of what I was telling you,
yeah, you'd have been straight.
Like, okay, for instance, when I was working at our family's business here in Charlotte, shout out to Scrimp Shack. If you haven't been there, please pull up to the Scrimp Shack. Bussin', best fish sandwich in America. So when I was working there, I was working with a young man who was struggling, who was dealing with a situation with him and his lady, who was dealing with things outside of work, who was dealing with things with family, and he just started pouring it out to me, and I just start pouring into him as they do, right?
Yeah,
of course at work, right?
Yeah,
and I just start pouring into him, man. Like in 6 months, he turned everything around. He started, going back to the gym, getting his mental, his physical right. Then he started going back to church, getting his spiritual right. He started connecting the dots with family members and saying, hey, I know this happened. I want to take the step and move things forward, and I want to work through things because family's all we got, and we only get one of them.
Yeah.
And in every turn, he was just like doing the things the little nuggets I was giving him here and there, because I was trying, again, not to overstep, go over boundaries and keep the relationship fluid, right? I realized this is truly the purpose and passion that I have.
Yeah.
Like that mentorship is like no other. Like, and to hear from him every other day is like, hey man, I just want to check in to say thank you. Hey man, I just want to check in to tell you I'm doing well.
Yeah.
He's now moved. He's got a new lady. He's got a new career path. He's got multiple businesses now. Like, he's really turned everything around within this last year, and to see that makes me happy. Some people was like, oh man, you should probably be charging people for that. You should probably be getting paid for that. I get it. Sometimes you should be blessed financially for some of your businesses, your transgressions, your time, but for me, it's never about that.
That ain't how we move. We got to be.
That's just not how we move, man.
We have to be. Now, if guys like, okay, go ahead, get your book ready.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead and start doing your sessions. Yeah, charge your little $20 at first, move it up to $99. Like, do what you got to do. But he's just saying you need to be a light everywhere you go. So you're not gonna be able to charge for it.
And
you don't care,
and I don't care.
You don't
and
care.
It's crazy because people are like, man, that's crazy. If I was doing that, I was like, yeah, but you're not. That's not your purpose.
Oh.
And it's like, you know what? I'm glad you said that. That's actually not your purpose. But we can talk more about it if you want, for free.
No, for real,
for free. Me and you can talk about what your true purpose is. And I think, yeah. So that's my take.
That's good. All right, let's go to the next one. So, what brings you joy about walking in your purpose? This is actually your last question.
I love that. Again, like we just said, what brings me joy about now walking in my purpose, I feel like this is what I'm led to do. But yeah, we could talk about it still, right? This is what I'm led to do. I am led to, funny that I was, given this kind of, the word of God was spoken over my life again to pastor and to lead and to teach a people and touch people who may or may not be traditionally ready or used to traditional church.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was just such a perfect timing. It was God's timing. It was God's plan to create this safe space and to give this outlet to our culture, to our people. And I never forget it when Prophetess Valerie Moore spoke over me. She just said, "You have something that the world needs." Mm-hmm. And like when she said it, I'm listening. Like, okay, I hear you. I've heard it before, but when she said it the second time, it was like everything in my mind just kind of white blank, and it was like God said, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have something that the world needs. Like understanding the severity of what's inside of you. Mm-hmm. And when she said that, and then the following Sunday, just kind of things just started opening and visions, and I started watching more podcasts and listening to different outlets. And this is before I even thought that what she was talking about, tradition, not being a traditional pastor and not being in a traditional church setting and still delivering a message. I never thought about it being a podcast. I just started. I randomly just, I can't say randomly.
Well, you were talking to a dude about starting one too, right?
Right. And we were talking about it and it just kind of didn't work out. Yeah. And it was one of the things where God was like, man, you've been talking about it and working on it and you didn't even realize what you were doing.
Right.
You were already setting the foundation and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I'll say this also, again, because I don't mind ever talking about anybody else's, platform or anything like that. So my unofficial, distant, spiritual mentor is Tim Ross, right? The basement, love, like really. And I listened to him once, and it was like, okay, I like what he's saying. And then when you sent me some stuff, I'm like, oh nah,
it
different. But I love, and I want to be, I want to be the same shining light to other people and do what he's doing as far as the true, authentic self,
being vulnerable,
and truly being vulnerable, telling you me. Right, not sugarcoating, not saying, "Oh, well, we can't talk about this." If you have questions you want to hear about from me or what's going on in my life or my family, or whatever, I'm vulnerable enough to provide that because and giving that feedback. Because if I sugarcoat it, you're not gonna feel what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and you're gonna feel me not being real. It's fake.
You're gonna feel it being fake. Yeah,
yeah, and I tell people it's some things that I can try to code switch and hide. But being a real nyaga, I cannot change. I'm going to be me to the death.
Yeah.
And I love me for that. And I hope other people love me just the same.
Yeah. Okay. I love it, man. Anything else you want to add as we get close to ending the pod?
I think that is so funny to me. That clap is hilarious.
I'll start using it more.
Truthfully, man, I pray and I wish each and every person that's hearing this under the sound of my voice. Oh, that sounds pastory. I don't like that. Anyone that is listening to this podcast and anyone that is hearing this for the first time, second or third time, or it's really touching you. I just ask that you take it seriously. If you feel something pulling and tugging on you, saying, "Hey, your purpose is not where you are," or your purpose is more than this, or where you're currently sitting, you need to move. You need to make a move right now. I encourage you just to do it.
Stop running from it.
Man.
Running will not save you.
Running from it will not save you.
Come on now.
So I realized I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, me and you talked about it candidly. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to go seek it and go look for it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not going to run from it.
Yeah. When it come, I'll accept it. But I'm
100%.
not about to go searching because that's not You ain't even have that pull to go search for it. You just like, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
So
whatever God puts in front of me I'm just gonna run with it.
I honestly feel like that's better because I feel like a lot of people are running northwest when God was like, you supposed to have been south 5 miles ago.
And you just running away from it.
And you just running in the opposite direction thinking, oh, yeah, you know what? As long as I'm running, I'm good. Okay.
But when do you get to that point where you're running and you're saying, I got to turn around?
When they hit rock bottom, bro. And that's the work.
But why do you have? Okay,
but that's what you work through. Us, not watching
our culture. Why do we have to hit rock bottom to say, you know what, I need to change?
That's true.
You know what, I've lost it all. You know what, I should probably change.
And that don't be getting everybody.
And it don't.
Because listen, I was hospitalized one time. Okay. I'm vegan now.
Not
I'm plant-based
not funny,
now.
But yeah, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm just saying you gotta have that mindset,
that wake up moment.
Hey
man, get it together,
bro. Like you know me, at least the way we grew up. You know, I never drank water, never ate fruit. It was in the house, so shout out to mom. She had it in the house. I just never liked fruit.
Right.
I got with my wife. All she drink is water. All she eat is fruit and cheese, and I'm just like, dang, like that, you like that? She's like, yeah, so I grew up off of. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start adding it to my diet more. I feel better. Lost a little weight. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just pick up. I feel like God and even just people, to be honest, like unspiritually, like in the world. I feel like people are gonna give you things, and if you don't pick it up, it's kind of on you.
Gems are planted all over in everything we do, and a lot of times we don't see it. So I'll talk. How are we with time? We good with time?
We have 41.
Okay, we pretty good with time.
Yeah.
So I'll plug this in because I was thinking about this on my way over here.
Mm-hmm.
The seeds that were planted for us growing up were totally different than seeds of our wives.
Oh, yeah. Can I say something real quick before you get into
absolutely.
it? Okay, so the one big difference between me and my wife is really not even a big difference, but I just didn't know people grew up this way. So with us, of course, you know, mom, dad, 3 boys. So we eating everything in the house.
Everything. So
what they said was, you know what, we're going to have the snacks, the sugary stuff, the sodas in the house. So when we go out to eat, everybody can get water because it's cost effective.
Right.
My wife was like, well, I'm only child. But we're not going to have anything in the house. That way it forces you to drink juice, even the lemonades occasionally, and the water.
When you're out.
And when you're in the house. And then when you go out, then you get a drink because you're not drinking it all the time. So I don't know if it's not really cost effective, but it's when it's 1 kid versus 3.
Yeah.
That's 3 versus 5. It just makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
And again, yes, very much so. Our wives are both raised as single children, so they kind of get different outlooks on life. But one of the things I wanted to talk about too, aside of that, is when we're just talking about the purpose. I realized us growing up, right, and how we were raised. A lot of the people who were doing well, like all the labor intensive jobs, I seen mostly black people work. I seen most people of color. Let's just say that. Most people
black
of color.
And brown.
Yeah, right. So people of color did all your labor, but that's all you seen doing that type of work and working.
Yeah.
My wife, actually growing up in DC, black excellence, way different. She's seen doctors, lawyers,
There's all black.
Everybody's black.
Yeah.
Right. That are successful. Their families are successful. So that means she, in government jobs. So a lot of government jobs were like, that's you already locked in. Yeah, that's what you want. So for them growing up and seeing that, their purpose and their, situation put them in place to say, okay, these are things that I can aspire to look for. My aspire to look for was working at, a steel mill, working at, a factory and being a factory worker. Norfolk and Southern in Roanoke, Virginia, or working at Yokohama Tire, working at UPS, FedEx, Pepsi, Coke,
shipping,
Network. GE. Like all these places are labor intensive. They are factory work, and that's what.
It ain't nothing wrong with
it.
it.
Again,
that's what you want
by
to
any
get to
means,
the bread.
there's nothing wrong.
I support it actually.
Nothing wrong at all.
I really do that and go to college.
100%. Then waste your time in college. I get it. However, to know that you see different classes of people and different styles of that, I think also can take can change your view purpose on your purpose. And that's the part I wanted to make sure I didn't miss in this podcast. I wanted to make sure that when we spoke about purpose, I want everybody to know sometimes you may not know what that looks like because you've never seen it.
Right.
And
that's
so
what a mentor help.
And that's why I push on the mentor that is more seasoned than you and has more, skin in the game. Because a lot of times they'll tell you, hey, young fella, the only reason I'm here and you're liking what you're seeing that I can do today is because my circumstances changed.
Yeah.
My environment changed, or my environment or circumstance put me here. It's not this wasn't my sole purpose. So what you're seeing, this is a good track, but it was a bumpy road, it was a hard road, and this isn't probably what your family would want for you. They want more for you. But because I'm here and I know about these connections here, and here, let me put you on.
Yeah.
Right? So that's, again, why mentorship is so key, and not just being like, well, that's my OG, that's my homeboy. Well, if your OG and homeboy, y'all both sitting in the same room and smoking and drinking and nobody's making no moves, that's
gonna be on the next pod too.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I got my own thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I won't put too much out. I'll leave it there. But yeah, I just wanted to. I had to make sure I talked about that because it was on my mind so heavy when I was on my way here, and I'm like, talking about purpose for people who've never seen more than what is in front of them is tough.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to venture out. You have to seek guidance outside of your circle and be open.
Just be open, because the traveling, the being able to receive constructive criticism, it comes with being open. It comes with being open. Because here's the thing: there's some criticism you're gonna get that you don't need. Just take it in, soak it in. If you don't need it, spit it out.
You just might not need it today. You just might not need it today.
That's a bar.
You just might not need that today.
You might not need that today, but you might need it.
Man, that was good.
That was good.
Hey, man. That clap is hilarious, man.
Yeah, man. So thank y'all for tuning in. This is episode 3.
Yes, sir.
Episode 3.
Our purpose episode 3 for the trays. You know it.
All right. So we'll be doing episode 4 next. And so just stay tuned. Make sure to follow us. You have the IG handle.
Absolutely. Got it right here. It is the Safe Space _413 on IG. That is the Safe Space Podcast. You can follow, subscribe, and share from there. We ask that you provide us any questions, any feedback. If you have our information personally, you can also reach out. We family. We love to grow and be inspired. And we take criticism better than most. So if whatever, and we're still growing at this, hopefully by the next episode, we can have video. We're trying to, again, everything we're doing is from the ground up with what we have. And we just want to make sure we get the content out, and we want to give people, something to listen to feel good about and feel.
We want to give them a safe space.
Easily. Got to give them the safe space. So also we want to do a shout out to Resume.
Oh yeah, the Resume King's been booming. They've been coming in like, hey, I listened to the Safe Space pod. So $5 up to $10 discount. It just kind of depends how much you need. One resume you get off $5. 2 resumes you get off $10. Simple as that. But yeah, just go to the-resume-king.com and get working on that resume.
Man, love that. We got to get our people in the right places with the right documents in front of those HR reps. They need to see it. It's important what you put on those documents. Those HR reps have systems where they just run through thousands of resumes a day, and yours needs to be set apart.
ATS. If you don't have the right keywords, and they delete it. But the Resume King adds all the ATS words.
Hey, man, don't give them too much free game, man. Don't give them too much free game.
I'm just saying. To be honest.
Thank y'all again for rocking with us. And again, it is the Safe Space Podcast. We out.